I hope you're ready for another season of Nock On, because it is gonna be a good one. Several years ago, I moved here to my home state of Iowa so that I could hopefully one day have an opportunity at a true buck of a lifetime. And although I feel like I do a good job scouting and trying to do my best to learn the bucks that are all around this area, sometimes the best gifts of all are the ones that are a surprise. And this past season, on October 27th, I was completely taken by surprise as a buck of a lifetime showed up on one of the first hot does in my area. One of my favorite times of the year to hunt is the end of October because it's a great pre-rut time. And this is when you really need to start reading the signs. The smaller bucks will start to move around and doing a lot of looking. They'll also start to travel a lot more during those morning hours, and they're also going to start claiming their dominance on their territory. You'll start to see some of the first buck fights of the year, and that is exactly when you need to get out your own set of horns and also make sure you have a grunt tube because they're going to be extremely effective. On my morning of the hunt, I had one more sign to read, and that was this first doe had obvious signs on her hind end that something had already been trying to breed her. Both of these does were acting a little bit strange, so I really had a good feeling that one of these were the first does to come into estrus and that there was a big buck close by. Like most of my hunts, I'm out filming myself, and after watching these does act kind of goofy, I was trying to reposition the camera because I thought that I had seen something back in the timber. Then I heard a grunt off in the distance, so I made one quick grunt of my own, and look what steps out. As you can tell, I'm sounding pretty nervous right now, but it's actually not because of the size of this deer. I still don't have any idea how big this buck really is because I'm trying to look over my shoulder and film myself with the screen. The remote control's broken. I have two other does that are behind me, close to being downwind, but who are also looking at this buck. So I'm afraid of getting caught moving by either deer. And to make matters worse, this buck is across the ditch and below me down on the field edge, and I literally have one lane that I can get a shot at this buck, which is where I'm trying to get the camera to right now. Nock on TV is brought to you by Hoyt. Get serious, get Hoyt. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. Stealth Cam, game cameras. Redneck, bail blinds. Sure-loc, hunting sights. Nocturnal, lighted Nocks. Fuse, hunting accessories. And Yamaha, ATV and side-by-sides, real world tough. I'm John Dudley. I'm an archer. I'm a bow hunter. I am defiant.
Oh man, what an awesome buck! October 27th, morning hunt. I'm sitting here, literally put my game ear in like 10 minutes ago, turned it on, and the first thing I hear is a grunt, and I didn't even think it was real. So I grunted back and I heard another grunt, saw a little deer come out over there, put my glass on her, and it was that little doe. And next thing you know, while I'm focusing on the doe, out steps just a great buck. I knew it was a shooter right away, so I grabbed the camera. Once again, camera is a debacle because the little pin of the remote broke in the camera this morning in the dark, so I'm having to run the camera with the zoom on the top of the camera, self-film, trying to judge where that buck's going, range my only shooting lane, figure out which pin I need, make sure my arrow's on my rest, all the good stuff, and pulled back, and I was looking back at this little screen right here, and I watched the buck just walking right across, and as soon as he got to the middle of my screen, about right there, I went ahead and looked away from the camera and anchored, got my peep settled, and put my pin right on there and shot. And as soon as I shot, I realized when that arrow hit, that buck had to have turned and came towards me a few steps. I hit him a little bit high and the shot angle was not good, but I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. First buck with that new Hoyt Carbon Defiant, and I couldn't think of a better way to defy the odds of a whitetail hunter than shoot a buck of a lifetime like that.
Field Recon.
Hey everybody, well, right up here, well, right there, yeah, right there are my lone wolf stands, and you can see got a great creek crossing right here, and this is coming from bedding up to a food source right up there where the beans were. So I'm going to show you something that's critical for learning to read the signs. This is pre-rut, and pre-rut, the bucks are going to give away their locations of where they're coming from and where they're going to. So right here, first sign, there's a great rub. There's also a small rub right there. And then check this out, we're on a great travel path. Again, this is coming from a food source going up into the timber, but look at this. That is an amazing rub. I mean, there's my hand. And then here we go, another rub. So if you're reading the signs, you got rub, 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 creek crossing. Then if you go up past my stand, I passed several other rubs coming down that trail. You know a buck's here, and as long as they haven't really started chasing those does yet, if it's pre-rut, they are gonna be checking these rub lines. But here's your next sign. I'm gonna walk up here a little ways because I know this buck was doing it right here. Scrape. That buck was scraping right there. I'm just gonna hold the camera on me, keep talking, because I can see, just while I was showing you that scrape, I can see right here, got another one. So let's check this out. Fresh scrape. droppings, lick branch. So that right there are all the signs. That's everything you need to know what a buck's doing, and they do that right before the rut, that pre-rut time. When you see those first scrapes and you see those rub lines, get in that area. Mornings, those bucks are gonna come through. Full moon is going down this morning at about an hour after I was in my stand, and that's when the buck was on his feet moving around. And the other thing too is today is a rain day. The rain is off and on, so these bucks love to freshen up scrapes while it's raining. They like to keep their scent fresh. So that's your field recon segment. I'm gonna go get my bow, and when we come back, I'm gonna try to find this buck. All right, everybody, well, I was on pretty good blood. I've gone about 150 yards inside of the timber. There's a trail that goes uphill right here in the CRP, and now I'm seeing the blood go downhill, and that's always a good sign. If your wounded animals are going uphill, that could be tough. So I can see the blood here on the leaves, and I can see my arrow now. That's really good. Got penetration probably 11 or 12 inches, so that's all I can really hope for. A terrible shot angle, to be honest with you, but it should definitely start bleeding more now. So let's see, there's my buck. Just saw him right there. Oh yeah! You never can miss the white belly. Well, throat patch. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. What a giant. Look at all the character. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Yeah! Look at that buck. So happy right now. Filming myself. It's been rain, it's been clouds, it's been sun, it's been a little bit of hail pellets. But now I finally got what I've moved to Iowa for. Came here and have always wanted a buck like this, and that's a buck of a lifetime right there. Let me prop them up for you and get my tripod and conclude this unbelievable October 27th self-film day. So happy.
Dead center.
I'm a huge believer in finding an indoor facility just like this to shoot in, because a lot of hunters make the mistake of not utilizing the latter part of the winter or early spring as an opportunity to really eliminate any type of poor habits that you might have formed during the hunting season, buck fever or target panic. This is the place where you really work out all the fine details and perfect your shot. I love indoor shooting because it allows me to focus on things without outside elements like wind or poor footing, or also the distractions. If you're only going in your backyard to shoot all the time, there's a good chance that you're out there shooting, your phone's going off, people that you know are coming by. It's easy to get distracted. By having a place that you set a schedule and you go to, and you go there and really focus on the small parts of your shot, that you know that you're lacking in, it's going to play a huge part in becoming better as a hunter and as an archer. One thing that I can tell you, put your phone in airplane mode when you go to the range. If you shoot a good group, go ahead and take a picture of it. But if you really want to become better as an archer and better as a hunter, then you need to start having a shooting environment that allows you to not be as distracted. Target archery is a huge part of my success as a bow hunter. And I know not everyone wants to be competitive, so to speak. However, finding an indoor range and really focusing on shooting at small targets without any type of outside force, it's going to play a huge part. The best shooters in the world and some of the best bow hunters are also great target archers, and it all starts right here in an indoor range.
Expand your archery knowledge with Nock On Podcasts, the highest level of world-class archery information available on either iTunes or at knockon.podbean.com. Well, here he is, just a spectacular buck. I had no idea this buck even existed, and that was such a pleasant surprise because nowadays so many people are documenting big deer in the area and scouting and forums and pictures, and sometimes you don't get those surprises anymore, but this buck brought me back to a childhood memory in Mississippi where you'd just get in a stand and you'd sit, and a lot of times you'd never see a deer. You'd just hope for a deer, and any deer was a surprise. This deer was such a surprise. I had no idea he lived anywhere around here, and this is the kind of deer that you end up losing sleep over. I'm just thankful that here on October 27th, full moon going down in the morning, he comes out on the first little hot doe, I guess, in my area. And first kill with my Hoyt Carbon Defiant. This is an awesome new bow that has a really cool cam system that has the string come off the cam further from the axle, so you can actually shoot a shorter axle to axle bow with the forgiveness of a longer bow. And the string angle on this bow is the same as my 34-inch axle to axle bows, and it's just shooting awesome. I can't thank all my equipment enough. Took a pretty dumb shot, to be honest with you. I was trying to do too much at once, run camera, grunt, try to control the camera with my hand, get a range, make sure the deer was a shooter. I actually thought that I had shot an 8-point with 2 stickers on this G2. That's all I thought this buck was. Wow, what an awesome, awesome, awesome hunt. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Nock on.
Hey everybody, want to join the Nock On Nation? Go to knockonarchery.com to see our entire line of trendy Nock On gear. Enter promo code SHOWFAN and get a free signed photo from Dud. knockonarchery.com.
Nock and ready to rock.
Let's put a few more arrows in there. All right, come check it out. And these last Nocked and Ready to Rock segments, I'm going to show you exactly the final steps that I go through to get my arrows grouping just like this. And believe me, there's a big difference between the same shooter and the same bow being able to shoot like this or shoot like this. And it's just a small, few, simple steps really. The one thing that I want to cover with you first is you need to make sure that you're going to be shooting on fairly level ground, and you also need to make sure that you're shooting without the wind, because this is going to be really important to make sure that it's not altering these tests. Also, if you know you just made a terrible shot during these grouping results, just pull that arrow and eliminate it from the equation. And again, I'm going to talk with you about these last few steps in the next Nocked and Ready to Rock segments. However, I do want to say I've already paper tuned this bow, and this is something that we covered in season 5 of the segment. So you can go back at nockontv.com and look at last year's bow build, and you're going to be able to see how to paper tune before you come out and start these last few tests.